All right, hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. There we go. Sorry, trying to plan out my day here. Obviously, hurricane sliding up the East Coast. I'm supposed to do a lesson today with a kid at 4 o'clock. And I'm trying to figure out, like, are we going to be able to sneak it in? Are we not going to be able to sneak it in? It looks like it's hitting right around that time. And then, of course, we have gale warnings tonight at 8 o'clock till 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And, yeah, supposed to have a tournament tomorrow morning. And so far, they have not canceled it. And we're like, what? Huh? So, yeah, fun and excitement. Let's see. All right, so sounds like you guys can hear me okay. Thank you, Jeff, for helping on that one. And we'll see. I don't know if Will will be on today. I know Will is a down south guy. I believe where Will is located is kind of right where the hurricane is right now. So we'll see if he's there or not. Sports Side must be from the Central. I know, Jeff. It's, yeah. Well, you know what? We called them and talked to them on Thursday, and they're like, it's bone dry right now. It's like, yes. But the tournament's not right now. It's in 2 days, and there is a hurricane coming up the East Coast, and it's supposed to start Friday afternoon. So thank you for the Captain Obvious. It's not raining right now. I got it. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, like, when we're playing, I guess it's down to, like, 50% chance. So it's, like, all in the overnight, and then by our first game, it is a 52% chance that it's going to be raining still. But it's been raining for 12, 14 hours by that point. And then it just stays at 50% all day, and then all day Sunday. And I guess Sunday afternoon and Sunday night, it kicks in heavy again. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's going to be miserable. It's like, oh, I mean, it's like heavy rain and wind too tonight. Oh, the fields are just going to be absolute mush. It's going to be horrible. Oh, this is a fun tournament last year. Great weather, but no, not this year. And it's kind of like the rite of passage, right? You can't have like a fall, the team can't have a fall tournament without, a super blistering cold or super rainy. Anyway, rolling in today, PCE data, again, 0.6. Now, there was an adjustment last time, so it wasn't as high. So it actually kind of tracked right where they thought it was going to be. They were off last time, which, again, that puts it a little bit higher this time. But again, overall, not a great data point for the Fed. Now, EU, they also had some crazy data. Their data came in, again, it was expected to be 9.7, quite a large jump, came in at 10, is what their year estimate was. Core PCE also continuing to raise, so kind of hard to blame on everything else when your core is also raising. But for the most part, euro dollar, 3. Dollar yen, 6. Dollar Swiss, 7. Aussie dollar, 14. Dollar CAD up a bit, but really the big movers again are the pound. So again, pound riding on what it did yesterday. I wouldn't say today is as crazy. It's much more low key, but it's just playing catch up for the most part. We'll see what Bernard and consumer sentiment does to the markets today. But right now, quite flat in the markets. As far as kind of, there was a little bit of OPEC news out there. India's, raising interest rates a little bit. Japan talking about how, weak yen. I think everybody knew that one. I love this one. The French foreign minister says that he's worried about Britain. Well, I guess you could say that. Yes. Truss is not making any, Liz is not making any fans. A lot of people are like, yeah, she's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. People were, I don't know, I want to say love or hate, but I don't know that Boris was the most well-liked guy up there, but I mean, he had a job, he did his job, and he left. Liz is, I don't know where she's, I don't know. Yeah, but she's making everything really, really crazy. And again, I thought this was funny. After suggesting the U.S. adopt the UK's approach, I would not adopt the UK's approach. I have to say that one. I do not agree with that one. Each country has to make their own decisions. They can't just have a universal kind of, this is what we're all going to do. It doesn't work that way. It's nice that she thinks that it does, though. But again, they're taking an aggressive approach, and you're seeing that the pound is actually coming back again into levels where, again, it's going farther. It's going farther away from parity. So it's funny that the EU just got data this horrible, and that guy's like, I'm worried about Britain. It's like you should worry about France because again, France, economically does not stand as strong as Germany, and Germany's having major problems. And guess what? It's coming to France too, baby. It's coming to France too. You are definitely moving in the wrong direction. This is a 0.9% increase, right? A 0.9, almost a 1% in a month. That's a big jump. That's a big jump. So yeah, you should worry about what's going on down there. Yeah. So we'll see what the next two people, the next two data points have. Again, really nothing from Bernard. There's nothing that's really popping up over here. I guess this. What is she saying? It's a picture that makes her look much younger than she actually is. Taking risk management posture to guard against risks of longer-term inflation expectations moving above target. There's risk that supply disruptions could be prolonged by Ukraine war, China's COVID lockdowns, or weather disruptions. Yes, thank you for stating the obvious there. And again, I mean, I guess there's some disruptions there, but I mean, China's COVID lockdown. What are you going? I mean, yeah, it just yeah. I mean, you could say that for any country. You could say if there was a Japanese one or if there was a Korean one, you could say this for anybody. But again, she's purposely saying China or weather disruptions. Yeah, I mean, again, how are you going to change the weather, right? Globally, the Fed is determined not to withdraw prematurely. Yeah. As you can't, because it's basically at this point it's horrible. So she didn't really say much. Nothing earth shattering. And again, that's kind of, I mean, you can see it. Like she spoke 40 minutes ago, and she's not even on this. I mean, she's here. It's considered this, but there's been no response. Right? There's nothing from it. So yeah. What are you going to do? So, consumer sentiment, 10 o'clock. We'll see how that comes in 20 minutes. We'll see if this is continuing to be higher. But right now, the markets are not really showing much. Saturday, nothing. Sunday, nothing. And then Monday morning, early, we have CPI on a monthly basis. And then manufacturing coming in right past. And then again, no forecast right now, but a rate statement and rate change in the Aussie. So, we could have some Sunday night movement. Sunday into Monday. I mean, again, this is a Monday night thing, not a Sunday, but a Sunday night thing. And again, but there should be some pre-positioning for that one once we start getting forecasts for that cash rate. So there's a couple things in the next 24 hours. But yeah, funny look, it's not really. It's rechasing a little bit in the last 40 minutes, but not. I mean, sorry, not that much, right? Here's the dollar. So yeah, medium impact, zero impact. Zero impact as far as what you just said. If anything, it's weakening the dollar a little bit, right? So yeah. So VIX creeping up a little bit. Yesterday, obviously a quite a crazy day in there, and again, kind of almost like an M-shaped double top formation. Again, the VIX is not one of those ones that you're taking chart-based selling patterns on. It doesn't work that way. It's nice when people think that it does, but that's not how it's working. Right now, again, it's creeping up a little bit. We'll see what consumer sentiment does. I wouldn't say that Bernard said anything that is something that we need to worry about. Indices. It went up, and here's the thing, this data right now, like, oh my God, it was more than expected. Yeah, but this was also not as high last time. So, you subtract this one and add it here, it's the same thing. It's kind of, again, is it great? No, but it was kind of expected. If this didn't change and this was 0.6, I think that would have been a much greater mover. But because people see red here and green here, it almost kind of washes itself out. And again, that's why we're not seeing major movement in anything really. I mean, the indices are, you got one up and kind of two down. They were horrible yesterday, and we mentioned them being horrible with maybe coming into a bit of a day of retracement today. I was kind of hoping that we'd have like a 0.4 come in for that number, and then today would definitely been like a green day to retrace everything that we saw yesterday. Didn't quite get there. It didn't quite. I was hoping. I was hoping and praying. I wasn't praying, but I was hoping. It would have been great. Give us a big green day, and maybe, I mean, after yesterday's bloodshed, maybe today we will get some green in there coming out. Trying to end the week on a green. I mean, it was obviously not the best of weeks, but maybe we could end on a green. A little bit of happiness to end out a Friday. Not that current weather events on the East Coast are necessarily in a happy fashion, but yeah. We'll see. And again, people in Florida, I feel bad for you. There's some people in Florida that are like, I've been here for 20 years and I haven't seen it this bad before. Very interesting storm. I don't know if anybody's tracking it. I know some of you guys live down south. Almost. I guess it tied for the 5th strongest ever when it made landfall, but then went all the way down to a 1 very, very fast. Like when it gets here, it's only going to be a tropical. It's not. I think it's like a low tropical storm when it gets here. But yeah. So again, that's that weather disruption. But I mean, yes, a lot of homes flooded, a lot of people in bad situations. But excuse me, if you think infrastructure-wise, we actually made it out okay. Infrastructure-wise, we didn't have any big problems. Had it turned, instead of going east, had it turned west over towards Texas, we would have had a much more oil and natural gas disruption. We didn't. For this one anyway. Does that mean that we won't have another one coming in that we, could have that disruption? No, it absolutely could happen. But it did happen this time. So that's why we're not seeing craziness, particularly, again, oil is definitely down today, and OPEC made some comments. Natural gas as well, because they avoided, everybody's looking at them like, yeah, we avoided it. We're out. We're in the clear now. So that's why we're seeing that kind of rollback. But starting with the Aussie. So here's the Aussie. We had that trade we talked about the other day. If you would continue this off, there was another touch this morning right around the European session. Came right in at what? 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. We tagged it. It pushed back down. The Aussie dollar, I mean, right now, 3 pips in 24 hours. And you can see all we're doing was we're flirting back and forth with that level. Now, was this a great trade? Should you have taken it? I would say that if anything, it was a B-rated trade. Why? You have 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, and really we're kind of in that 4 range. But with this kind of establishing a new level here and then kind of getting front run on it, you could have kind of taken this and said, well, wait a second, there's another level right there, and we just barely touched to confirm it. Yeah, you could have taken that one as well. again, I wouldn't say that the trajectory has really been changed. If anything, it's more consolidating now. You have lower highs. Your bottom pivots are also going up in the air. If anything, I would say kind of the same sentiment. Are we going to change this trend today? Probably not. I would probably maintain more bearish stance on there. Again, looking at the dollar just to start off real quick. I mean, dollar, yes, it's been pushed up in the European session, but now we'll kind of see that roll. And again, with that split number, I would say that it's not the strongest dollar news that we wanted today. So again, if the dollar comes back into this 111 range, we talked about 113. Sorry, the 112.50ish area. We got lower than that. We actually came a little bit a dollar lower. Wouldn't be surprised if we come back down. So if we see this dollar, the dollar weakness coming in. So I would say basing, and then once we get the dollar kind of maintaining, then look for the drop. But the Aussie's not really necessarily in a great situation. It's down pretty much across the board on both pairs. But I think, again, we got buyers here, got sellers here. If you're not already in a trade at this point, I don't know that there's going to be enough room. And if anything, I would wait for a break of this level right here, right? Again, 2-candle bottom, ascending wicks. We love that, but we tagged it. Actually, we didn't tag it the second time. It kind of got front run on that one. And there's a nice little run below that one. If anything, wait for a break of 64.36, and then you could take that. I don't know if we're going to have time today for it. I really don't, because with the buyers here, it probably takes a bounce. But having it come down and bounce back up to a full profit, I think is asking a lot for Friday afternoon, particularly because, again, the East Coast, the whole East Coast knows that this, there's a hurricane on the way. This weekend is going to be just completely crappy. So, you want to make sure that all your last minute details are done. Not that it's going to affect us too much, but again, just the nature of the beast, right? Nature of the beast. So yeah, looking like the way, and even right now, look at this. With the descending candles or descending wicks like that. Again, that typically is more of a sign for it to turn and roll. So we'll see. I mean, consumer confidence could really make a big boom on this one. We'll see in about 20 minutes. But I would say, if anything, look for it to come down and start bracing through. And we may take one more bounce. Look for a base. Look for a break of 64.37. Take that sucker short. Aussie yen. So, Aussie yen, here's that 94. We talked about it yesterday, the 94.14. We got so close. You could have set a new basing level, and again, there's a trade in there. If we extended across, there was your trade. Kicked in late last night. It is officially out now, though. I think it got out a little while ago. Actually, I guess it did trigger right there, about 6:30 this morning. I thought it needed the push a little bit lower down, but yeah, it's there right now. You can see 23 didn't hold whatsoever. The 50 is still there. I think that's the next level we look for. It was a pretty decent response off of it. Are we going to be able to run up this many pips? Let's see. 54 pips and then turn and roll? It's a Friday. I don't know if we're going to get that much movement in. We're kind of stuck in the middle. I think watch out for the 50 level, but right now you can see we're basing and basing again. It's kind of a weird position. So, yeah, that level from Wednesday finally got hit, finally triggered, and is finally out as of 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this morning. So, yeah. And again, this one kind of has the same kind of draw here. We could draw it here. We've touched it. I'll change it so it doesn't mess with that 50. But again, if we hit it, and we come back down and hit it one more time, I think this is a trade setup for next week. A break of 93.13. Who is messaging me? How many kids? Hold on. Okay. I gave him a number of how many kids I had, and I was like, yeah, but I had one withdrawal, and he's like, good, that's how many I had on my list. I was like, yeah, it's how many I need, because the helmets and everything came in today with a tournament tomorrow. Nothing like wait to the last minute. And the funny part is, I'm like, I can't fit 46 helmets in my car. Like, I don't know how we're transporting them. I was like, it's nice to talk about it. Sounds like a great idea, Colin, but I can't put 46 helmets in my car. And bags. They want me to put bags too, and uniforms. I'm like, guys, I have an SUV. I was like, but it's not, all right, sorry. got to take care of this. This has been like a 3-week process. Anyway, I think a break of a 93.11. That's kind of where we're looking. Nice little racetrack down here. So this is probably a trade more for next week. I actually kind of hope it comes down and bounces off of it this week. Get those last little buyers out of that level. Take those 50%ers out of the way and let them hold it over the weekend. But let it come down base, drop through 93.11, and shoot for 92.34 next week. Euro dollar. So Euro dollar bring us just a little bit higher. So Euro dollar fib wise, again, we'd already mentioned this level before. Yesterday morning, we were sitting here and we were like, it's in a level right now. It was there. There wasn't really any necessarily fibs. It kind of got front run off of this little bit right here of that level. And again, when it turns and turns, you're like, yeah, that level's toast. And it did. It came through and punched higher. It did trigger late last night. Again, you had 2 opportunities late last night. And actually, I guess one at 4 o'clock this morning as well. If you bring this in there, 1 of 3 is sitting right there. So kind of the same scenario. This one is out at 7:30 this morning, and came down, and it's funny, kind of basing on that same level. Remove it, not to distract people. Looks very, very similar. I would say look at this level down here. There's a small level here, which actually is kind of backstopped by the 50%. I would say right now, again, a little bit more bearish this position as well, but I would say look for profit taking to come in right down here at 96.97. I would say this is profit taking first because, again, we are kind of in that short pattern, but that could be a potential area where they would get a bounce off of. I don't like this one. The Aussie dollar, Aussie yen, both had a nice little kind of Harry Potter trade. I don't like this one as much for 2 reasons. One, there is a base right here, so that's probably where it would spring off of, but that's also the 61.8. So for me on that one, it's like, yes, if there's a base in here, it doesn't qualify. Now, this does qualify, okay? So this is we're going to confuse everybody on this one. Here we go. You ready to be confused, guys? I'm going to confuse everybody right here. Do it. We'll use the 50 for it. 1 to 3 is right there, which is perfectly fine. Let's bring this across. Once it's done being drawn, you guys will be able to be like, oh, I got it. Let's make sure that's square. Look at that, dead on. Getting better. So profit target here, and again, would not be surprised if we come down and hit it and bounce. Question is, can we do it today, or is that going to be a Sunday night trade? So, it did push it pretty deep, but there's probably one more hit in there. Because remember, this wasn't a 50% retracement. Now it is a 50% retracement. So if we can get down there, and it's kind of like a big if. It's kind of a big if at this point. How many pips? How many pips? 80. And that would be a heck of a reversal on a Friday. Heck of a reversal on Friday. Could be a Sunday night trade, though. Let's see. That could be a decent Sunday night trade. 30 right there. $20 for 60. That's not too shabby. So, all right, this is an if then that. If we do nothing but rally up again, yeah, there's probably one more long here like you could take on a Sunday night. But if we can actually drive ourselves down, if we have some dollar strength rolling back into the market right now, if we roll in and kind of end and then open up down here in this 96 area, again, European session, they could obviously send the dollar down. And, again, European messages, yeah, sure. I could go back up again until the U.S. trader comes back in. But I think those are the kind of the 2 areas we're looking for. If we are in close proximity to the open on Sunday night, this could be a long. And that area, although we don't like how much this pushed in, it is now a 50% retracement. So again, kind of one of those like little halfway backs with a basing level in there. For a Sunday night open, that could be a decent. And again, there's a lot of things that have to happen for that one. And also, if we continue to grind through, and again, depending on where we open, we may jump past that. We may come all the way up here. Again, this is for next week. This could be like a Monday morning type scenario. When we do finally break through this 96.45, taking advantage of this level here. Actually, it should be drawn like that, but I had the risk of reward tool on. This one I think is also a nice little trade for next week. And again, this is bringing dollar strength back into the market. And you're going to look to want to take this one off down here at 95.70. All right. So a lot of drawing on that one, but two potential trade setups. Again, one of them is time-based. One of them is not so much time-based. Take it for what it's worth. Um, all right. Euro pound. Obviously, a lot more choppy. So we talked about a potential Harry Potter trade coming in at 88, a break of 88.40. You can see we never got the entry. You know, it came in, went immediately back up, but that's kind of a no-no. Came back in, went right back up. Came in, went right back up. Came in, right back up. There's never any space in there, so there's never been a trigger for this one. And then when it did it again, 5:30. We're gonna try to put all 46 helmets in the car. He's like, "Can I give you all 46?" I'm like, I mean, just so you guys understand too, if you've never played lacrosse, I mean, if you've never seen lacrosse, at this point, I feel like it's mainstream enough. I mean, like a helmet's the size of like a bowling ball. Like, think about it. Could you fit 46 bowling balls in your car? That's kind of what we're debating right now. And I think there's 6 per box. The boxes are huge because they're all like padded. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be common in the rain. We're gonna do this in the rain, just so everybody knows. Yeah, this is gonna be my afternoon. Anyway, again, no Harry Potter on this one, so unfortunately, it didn't give us the entry that we're looking for. Again, unless we have the parameters set correctly, we do not take trades. We don't force them. And this one, because it was really the first or second hit, it wouldn't have been just take it. So right now, we're looking for price to come all the way down to help reset. 87.25 is kind of where we're looking for. I like this one. This could, this is a target first, but if we push in here and we get a feather to go lower, I think this could also be a buy area as well. Reason being is, yes, the pound has been, having a lot of strength in the last 2 days. It'll probably continue the week out that way, but we just got a CPI number over 10% for the EU. That's going to require them to make some statements and be like, what's your next step, guys? What's your next step? When are you going to raise it? It may actually make them raise it a little bit more, which would, again, bring some strength back into the euro and offer a reversal opportunity. The big bottom, the top, we obviously don't have, we're not down to the 78 yet, so we're not deleting it. But if we wanted to run this and just see where we are now, you can see right now nothing's really lining up. There's a small zone here at the 23, so if we were to turn, there would be something at this old kind of profit level. But right now, none of the other levels are really lining up, so that's why I think this one continues to move. Now, if I do go a bit lower and we do start tagging that area here, right, and again, this is kind of like forecasting with fibs, definitely not what they were designed to do, but it's something that, a lot of times, we look at it after the fact. I'm kind of looking at it beforehand. If we do come down and test this 87.27, you can see all of a sudden the 23, there's a lot going on right there, right? So, we use fibs to confirm levels. Well, there's the level. To be able to have it be a level that it's confirmed with fibs, it needs to come down, and look, that happens to be an area where we had major buying coming in. So, yeah, I'd say right now bearish on this one. It's got to move about another 50 pips. There's 2 hours left in that session, and then obviously, it's it's moving. It's moving. So look for that one to continue coming out. Euro yen. So Euro yen. So we got a front run on the euro yen yesterday morning at 7:30, and then we were sitting all the way back down here. We're like, wow, look at that. We got front run on that. Then it came up and it started the base in there. So unfortunately, this 141.05. I kind of like the way the zone was formed. The front run told us there was some buyers, but it looks like there was. I'm sorry, sellers. Wasn't many sellers there. Now it's obviously stuck in the level, right? It came through. It fought. We know we had nothing out the top side, and that was a concern of ours. It ended up going higher. Again, it put in that failure to go higher right there. That zone was formed late last night and triggered right here at this European Open, right? European Open is 3. Yeah. So I didn't take this one. I was asleep. I can say that I was absolutely asleep. I believe Melissa was awake, though. But yeah. Your 1 to 3 is sitting right there. Decent trade setup. I think it was great, pushing back into levels right down here. So yeah, this one did not work. And again, I'm cool with that. They don't all work. And again, we were really grabbing on one level. So yeah. And like I said, this was a new form zone inside of it's a fresh and authentic zone formed inside of a racetrack-based trade. So right now, what do we do with this one? I think we still need to mark off this zone here. right? This 41.50. Again, this will be a target to the downside. It's where we have buyers coming in. If this next push down, the impulse move is down, look for 140.24. I don't know if I would take this again. This was an old violated level. It spent a lot of time there, broke through, and was like, yep, and then kind of used it to the downside. Whoa, that's a big spider. Hold on one sec. There's a gigantic, I don't want to say gigantic, but he's quite large, and you don't belong in the house. Oh, shit. Whoop, sorry. I'm not supposed to say bad words, but he literally, I went to kill him, and he jumped onto my desk, so he is now crawling across the keyboard. Sorry, buddy. You don't belong in my house. Did I kill him? Did I not kill him? Nope. Again, I'm kind of all for wildlife, except when they're in my house. It's like, yeah. Yeah. All right. So, let's see. I'll give that to you guys. Hold on one sec. You know what the worst part is? I don't want to say worst part, but that guy done messed up. And the reason he done messed up is because now he is dead. Well, he was crushed, and now he is ant food. So, my little ant colonies over here, I have all their like habitats set up. So they like spiders. They really enjoy spiders. You're not supposed to feed them insects you don't buy from the pet store because they could have they could have toxins and stuff like that in there. But this was a large spider in my house, so not only now he's on my desk, Ernest. I'm not going to step on my desk. No, I had a paper towel here, so I crushed them enough, and they curl up in a ball when they die like that. So yes, he has now been deposited into the outworld of one of my colonies. I should have put them with the little guys. I have these little ones that they just are insane. They absolutely they smell meat and they go insane. They're little tiny ants. They're like hard to see, but yeah. So the spider is no more. I survived, and now he is ant food. He is ant fodder. So anyway, back to the. Yeah, I was like, why are you crawling my monitor? You're like asking for it. That's what I get for living in the woods. Anyway, look for this one to continue down. I think the 140 is decent. Again, we may want to adjust it a little bit. We're going to adjust it a little bit. Actually, let's go. Make sure you take your profit between around 140. Here, well, sure. Let me get this up. Boom. Right there. 140.39. All right. Kind of maybe a Harry Potter in here, depending on when we tag this one. But right now, I would say more negative today. But I think the euro is in for some bearish movement. I'm sorry, some bullish movement next week. Once we start again the headlines, with only like an hour to go, or 2 hours to go for them in their Friday session, I think they're pretty much out of thing right now. Mr. Bean has a new show. He destroyed a mansion trying to kill a bee. Yeah. They like bees too. Yeah, there was a bumblebee. Actually, well, I take that back. They like a lot of things like that, right? I can admit it, I killed a bumblebee thinking it was one of the wood borers because we do have a lot of wood borers and I live in a wood house. But the one that I killed last year was actually a bumblebee, the big round one. The reason I know is because I found out later on, those big gigantic bees that have like pollen sacs on their back legs, those are bumblebees versus a wood borer that they do nothing but, bore into your deck and stuff like that. But I've killed both of them, and the locals outside, not my inside pets, my local ants, they swarmed it. They were all over it. I was like, wow. Had no idea that, ants were carnivores. But yeah, the ants will eat everything. Anyway, look for 140.40. 140.40, this level, I would say, will be your target first. If we do get the proper base out of that, there could be a Harry Potter trade in here. Actually, let me run a fib on this real quick. Fib, low to high. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. So if we can get a base in there, again, I'd like one hit off of that. I think that would be decent. And then we start to push back down again in that run. Would be pretty good. You can see the 23 did absolutely nothing. It wasn't a zone for us to go long from anyway. So looking for that reversal. Now, pound. Pound had a trade in the overnight. This is one that we had marked off. I just extended it across last night. It was a 61.8 level. And again, we had a zone here that was a bottom, a bottom, a bottom. It based in there, pulled up, and then was confirmed right at the 61.8. This one touched it at 4:30 this morning. So this is one of those ones that was kind of between the 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. reversal time frame. Yeah, early. But 100 pip trade on this one. 33 risk for 100 pips in the other direction. So nice trade to wake up to in the morning. And you can see, whoops, I didn't want to move that one. I'm just trying to extend the crap. The one we talked about before yesterday, the 51, it fought. It did its, its best in here. It fought. And then that became the profit level on the other side they were looking for, and it turned exactly where it should have. So I'll remove that one now. We don't need that one. We can run this. Oh, man, it did it again. No, move this all the way up. You can see, again, we drove through and actually went past the level to 23.6. That would have been where our profit target needed to be before, and it turned where it should have. So right now, I'm going to remove this. We touch. We didn't touch it on this side. I'll remove it. We don't need it. Take it off. Right now, again, you can see definitely some basing in here. I think this one looks a lot like the euro. I think if we can get a decent base around this 23.6, we do roll and we push all the way back down to the 50. That is 164 pips. So it is a big area that it needs to overcome. But at the same time, again, it's dollar strength. We're absolutely going to crank more dollar strength in. Question is, how much more can the pound stomach? And again, they're talking about doing all this crazy stuff. And everybody's like, the UK is insane. I don't know if insane. I think they're justified to do it. But I think that, yeah. I think the dollars, again, the United States can stomach a lot more. Our GDP is much bigger. Again, our people spend a lot more. We're a much larger nation. So, we can sustain higher interest rates, and they're definitely, again, I think we start to hear more about that 0.75 and maybe the 0.75 after. I think we have dollar strength rolling back in. The UK is limited. They can only do so much, and I think they're kind of pushing the maximum of what they can do. I think we do start to see this roll. So I do think, I don't really necessarily have the correct entry on it yet, but maybe probably in here somewhere, right? And then I'd like to kind of figure out how to get this back down to the 50, right? So top wise, just be cautious. Again, it's already basically touched twice, but it could also be a potential opening for Sunday night if we push up that way. But I'd like the short on this one more than anything else. Pushing back down into where this 50% level is, pushing over into the 108.78 range. Pound yen also on the high side. So pound yen. This was a decent trade. Again, psychological level at 160. Great moving off of here. And then you can see yesterday morning we talked about this where we hit it and then kind of reversed back at 10:30. You're like, that's not what we want. And then it hit it again and it pulled back down again. And then kind of did it again and did it again. And once you start seeing this, you're like, okay, take yourself out of the trade. If anything, you were at a 1-to-1 right here. You should have got stopped out of break even on this one. Maybe you banked a few pips in there. Should not have lost any money on this trade. It did go higher, and actually, not only did it go higher and kind of give us a fake signal in there, it actually pushed higher again this morning at 4:30. So this is probably a stop loss at break even based trade. You absolutely should not have lost anything on it. There we go. Let's run this all the way up. All right. And we're going to keep that on as a yellow because, again, that bounced through on that side. Let's change that to a yellow. This one I don't care about now. You can look at this 61.8 right here. Went right through it. Sliced through like nothing. 50, sliced through it like nothing. A little bit. I guess there's a little bit of a base. A little bit of a trap there right at the 50. And then boom. All right. So I do like this candle formation here. It's a great shape. That's kind of my favorite shape as far as tops go. There's potentially a shorting there. Again, it is Friday afternoon. I'm not holding the pound yen over the weekend. There's no way. If we do base through, that could be a potential turning point for Sunday night. So it's something that you want to watch out for. Right now, again, if we pop up to it, the big question is, can you get that much of yen play for the rest of the day to take us out by the end of the day? I really don't know. Could we go up? I mean, what's the risk in that one? It's 75 pips. That means it needs to move. What? 152. But my math is off right now. 225 in the other direction. Can we go up that little bit and then go 225 pips before they close the market today? No, not so much. But pretty much everything, as I just said, is baked into the yen or into the pound. So if we can kind of maintain sideways movement and open at the 161. Could we take a weekly kind of swing position to go back down again? Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably a decent trade setup for next week, and probably shooting for somewhere over here in this 50 level. I think this could be a nice little swing trade for next week, and a lot of it depends kind of what we're doing from now till the end of the day. But I mean, for it to break this zone, it's got to go up 160 pips. Is there anything today that we can generate 160 pips in this one already, news-wise? Not really for a Friday. So yeah, I'd like to really see it base, and I think that's a great opening base trade on Sunday night. I didn't know I have a big trade Sunday night, but that's, right there. So you can see how close we are to it, right? So decent. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD stuck. So yesterday we talked about this, how all the dollar pairs had levels of great buying or selling, and they pushed it just a little bit farther before letting it go. They kind of they had to squeeze it in. So, this is one of those trades you probably got stopped out on it. Had you taken it on a 1. The green, red, green came in actually right down here. It was kind of like the low on there, that little confirmation. There's your green, red, green right here. Right there. You see it? There was your confirmation of a bottom. And actually, this technically would have qualified as well, and then kind of got stopped out and then gave it to us over here. So we were waiting for reversal. The problem is it wasn't really reversing into anything over here, right? So I would say right now, dollar CAD, for the most part, minus 34, not doing a whole lot. There was some OPEC data over here about oil and what they're changing around with oil. Again, we're more or less going sideways. We talked about in any longs, 138.03 would be your area. Right now, again, with it basing sideways, if we have any type of a pop, that could be a potential rollover, and 138 pretty psychological. We still have a Harry Potter trade, and again, we have an alert set on this one. We're quite a ways away from it. I don't think we're hitting it today. I mean, yeah, 118 pips for the rest of today? No. Not unless something happens that is just completely out of the whack. We're basing sideways. So, got to see where we end. Again, don't need that one. That's not really a great level. Going down the middle of this channel, let's see. It is a channel that is, it's about 80 pips wide. So, it's kind of where we're looking on it channel-wise. We're literally sitting right in the middle of the channel. God, this was 2 days ago. We started forming this channel 2 days ago. I don't think there's much in this one. Not for Friday. Because again, there's your top side of it, right? I mean, I guess he could have drawn it over here, but 1, 2, 3. We shouldn't hold much long. We shouldn't be able to hold much more on the top, and even the bottom. 1, 2, 3. So we should be leaving this channel rather soon. Yeah, we should be leaving the channel rather soon. I mean, if we come through the bottom and start the base, it's probably going down, and then we could be talking about this 135.60. Again, if we go up right now, this has not been able to get back to it. If we can get up there, yeah, I think there's probably a short in there. By the way, not that this is a large colony. It is a baby colony, but they have already started the swarm. There's probably, I don't know, 20. There are 20 ants already pulling apart that little spider. Well, I say little, but I mean, he's not. Put it this way, it's much bigger than body-wise, much bigger than a daddy longleg, right? But not one of those tarantulas or anything. But yeah, there's already 20 ants pulling them apart. So it's called karma. You crawl across my my monitor, and then 5 minutes later, you're being devoured by a bunch of ants. So yeah, see, I'm not vengeful. I swear. Anyway, dollar CAD, look for it to break out. Not much more in that one. Dollar Swiss. All right, so there's our drawing from yesterday. I haven't touched this one. We talked about coming off this one late last night. It did come down and grab the 97.43. This trade's out. I think actually, is it out? It may not actually be out. No, you're out. It is out. Okay. We literally just pegged. It's 3.07, so it's officially out. I was concerned. I was wait a second, that was really close. Yeah, so if you guys were here yesterday, we talked about this when I drew it really kind of down to the peak. Kind of funny. where I drew my arrow. It just happened to be the base and the bottom. And now it's up. It didn't go all the way to the opposing zone, which is fine. But again, the 1 and 3 has already been targeted on this one. I still think it probably has the opportunity today to come up. Again, you should be out of the trade already. If you're not, obviously, you should be trailing your stop loss at this point. There are buyers up in that level. But again, yeah, we talked about, getting the right bounce off of this one, and it did, barely touched, then it boom, touched, and again, higher. So your entry was here or here. I mean, there's two different entries on this one, but you're out. This was a 24 for 75. So, waking up and getting out, or 9 o'clock, grabbing 75 pips in the dollar Swiss, not a bad trade. And again, we talked about the level being here, backstop with a 50, and a bit of a confirmation right there. So if you were here yesterday, or if you don't believe me, go back and watch yesterday's session. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here. Okay. So, yeah, not bad. We talked about it coming down here for news, and then obviously this was the CPI drawing. So even though the CPI really didn't do much, it ended up coming down. And again, we talked about pre-positioning. It's kind of, think about it. This late last night, we pre-positioned the European session, then the U.S. session is putting us in the opposite direction. So, yeah, that guy's out. Nothing we can do right now. I'll let this one reset into next week. Still got a level up top. That is decent. And again, profit target down here. So we'll just continue this across. This one is still in play. So, all right, dollar yen. Dollar yen. Yesterday we were sitting here, and we went down, and we went right back up, and we grabbed it again, and we went down, and we grabbed it again, and we're still stuck there. So I think the comments made by the BOJ, I won't be surprised if they actually add a little bit more of an intervention in next week. Nothing substantial, nothing like the first one. Not like one of the major ones. I think we're probably safe at this point from another major, but I do think we start probably to roll. And again, this one's hard. The BOJ talking about intervening should send this down again, but the dollar raising should also send us back to the top side. So, we're kind of bracketed in. You can see the two red levels. I think 145.57 is a nice little front run on this larger time frame zone. Obviously, the 145 major psychological level, and again, where is it? The heck is it? Oh, here it is. Right. This is why I think there's a bit more coming. All right. The recent rapid one-sided yen weakening is negative. It's undesirable. Right. He's not saying an actual number, but we all know what number that is. So, yeah, he wants it. Remember the talks a month ago? It's like, 130 is bad. 135, not the end of the world. Now we're at 145. So, yeah, I think we can turn to roll. All right. So, cryptos. Same chop back and forth. Again, people are trying to figure out what's going on. These two ones, they're up a little bit. Bitcoin, Ethereum looks exactly the same. Dogecoin, they look almost exactly the same. They're all doing the same thing. TLT, a little bit of a jump up. And again, we're seeing dollar weakness today, although it's starting to creep back down again. It's kind of the realization is, they're going to raise again. I think TLT, I kind of like TLT poised up here. Again, for any of you options traders, TLT is a great one to trade, especially if you want to get bond exposure. Don't like really any of the bond ETFs necessarily, but TLT I think is a great way to play treasuries. With it gapped up this high and being in a level, and we've seen selling all up in this range here, right? And again, almost kind of like the old bottom here becomes the top, right? Top, boom, nice gap down, up again, and we're starting to come in here. This could be one of those swing trades where next week you take something, use weeklies, and then, again, go with like a put spread, right? Get a put spread in there. Could be something decent there, back to the downside. And it's, going from 105 down to 100, right? I guess 173-ish. There may be a nice little put spread in here if you guys know how to play those things. Looking at oil. So, oil, you can see that we talked about a target of 97.61. We came back up and tagged this around the European session time frame. We grabbed the top of this level. This little guy here did get hit a little bit, although, again, it was a violated level that we were talking about before. We had mentioned look for the 50% target in the zone right here, and you can see that's exactly what we came down and grabbed. The 930 candle is where we hit it, and then again we have the U.S. strength coming back in. Right now, although this level's been hit a few times, and again it hit at the European session, the way that it kind of turned off of here with this kind of failure, any failure to go any higher than what it is, I think that's a decent, the 82.36. I think right now, given us kind of a top and bottom of a channel, I think this is kind of 67.72. I think those are decent levels really to kind of bracket this one off. I would like to see oil go up a little bit today, and then I think rolling into next week. Once we get the Monday and everything is back online and they're reaffirming that there was no damage and all that kind of stuff, again, that shows that the supply disruptions didn't happen. I'm kind of feeling that oil is more of a bearish scenario next week. So I'm kind of hoping that we rally back up again and we get another shot to sell it up here at 82.36. 80 is going to be this big psychological level. Everybody's going to talk about above 80, below 80. It's going to be a big deal. And you're going to have these pokes where we come down. But I mean, today we went down to 79.14, but high is 82.56. So obviously some volatility in this market. But if you did grab this top level, great. We talked about a target coming down in the next day to 96, and we did. We hit it this morning at 9:30. I actually assumed we'd hit it at like 5:30, 6:30 this morning, so it did take a little bit longer when I said it yesterday, but okay, I missed it by 3 hours, but we came down to 96. 79.61. Natural gas also coming back down a little bit. Now, natural gas yesterday had this great little trade set up, and again, 10:30 happened to be the reversal point. It ended up coming down and grabbing the lower level here. Again, that was the 10:30 reversal for the morning and pulled back up and kind of went a little bit higher. Kind of hoping we can get into one more. We didn't get it. Now, I'm okay with this. I think natural gas and oil both dodged a bullet with the hurricane. I think next week when they confirm that, hey, listen, we did. We definitely dodged the bullet. We didn't get that. The world didn't collapse. I think we probably have a bit more negativity in this one still. Again, as long as there's no major comments now, our forecast, all of a sudden it's going to get really, 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 really cold this winter, which I've heard we're supposed to have a cold, wet winter. Right now, natural gas will continue to deteriorate until we start getting some of those headlines. Now, I do want to bring this up. 660, the 660 level that we just took a bounce off of. We can officially say now, again, it was the bottom yesterday when we were talking at 10:30, 11 o'clock. We do have this one. We do have the 2 and it left, and there's number 3. So, I mean, we do have our 3 hits. So, number 4 coming into this one right now tends not to be the best place to go long. Just saying. Will it drop? Will it go lower? Yeah, it's backstop a little bit. Right, we know that it's backstop a little bit, but looking at after this little area here, we got to run back down into the 625-ish range before we really hit a whole lot. 625 is kind of down there. So could we get down to the 625 next week? I'd say the potential is there, and I would say Monday, Tuesday-ish, as long as nothing insane happens this weekend in the Ukraine. I think this is a pretty decent. I think it's a pretty decent trade. A small term short, right? Again, based off of the hurricane coming through. Now, gold. All right, so gold, we ended up having this trade, came through, and it came up and based on that level again, which shows that it's going to break. Now, gold did come across, and again, gold very, very traded. A very technically, most of the commodities are all very big technical trades. But you did not get in. So a lot of people are like, yeah. I mean, if you were drawing this one, right, you're going to draw this zone right here. Right? There's your zone. There's your confirmation. Okay? Everybody hopefully has that one. Bring this across, and boom. So there's your European session gold short. There's the 3 o'clock candle. There's your backstop, and there's your 1 to 3. So you are out. And we're pulling back up to that level again. Now, with that said, I think that the market today was prepared for a much larger number than we got. Like I said, if you listened to me yesterday, I assumed that we were going to get higher than 0.5. I said if we get a 0.6, 0.7, this thing is going to the moon, right? What I was not accounting for was them to make the adjustment last time down, okay? So really, at the end of the day, it is kind of a... What? Oh, I love this. Russia declares 4 new regions of Russia as Moscow illegally annexes parts of Ukraine. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't he though, right? I mean, if you think about it, I mean, was the Crimea annex legal? And he got away with that. I mean, who's to say what's legal and illegal, right? If he gets away with it, is it legal? I don't know. I feel like, yeah. And is anybody surprised that he annexed these 4 areas? No. I believe that was what everybody assumed from the very, very beginning, and that was kind of the bargaining chip. Like, just give us these zones and we're good. So, yeah, not really surprised at all. Anyway, gold, obviously. Let's see. What was the consumer confidence number? It came in a little bit less. Consumer confidence a little bit. And again, this consumer confidence may be helping gold, right? Because this is the true data, but this is what people believe, and this is where people are going forward. And after the week that we've had, I'm wondering if the consumer sentiment's going to start going down a little bit more because, again, things have been kind of nasty, which, again, is positive for gold. So, again, it's up 0.65. Silver, again, unfortunately, kind of rolled back off that 50. And, again, you can see it based in there again. So the 50 was not a big deal, but the 61.8 did get hit, the 1912, and it pushed it back down and actually grabbed right where it should have. So we're there now. They're both kind of in the same region. Remember, both these markets do close early. They don't go full day. I would assume they probably start petering out now that all the news is out. We've had a nice little pop, and again, this pop is probably just U.S. traders stepping online. I think finding a place to go short is probably, I don't know. We don't have the top in yet. If we could find a place to go, then I think getting short gold and silver would be decent. I'm not holding over the weekend, but I think going into Sunday night, yeah, I think the data's there. I think we look for a roll. Did pop right into it. It may roll back from this one. Nah, if you assassinate him, I mean, it depends who does it because unfortunately right now, like the number 2 guy that like the guy that stepped in, remember when Putin had surgery, Ernest, and he had to go under and like give up power or whatever, or temporary cede power where he was unconscious getting his surgery or whatever? The guy that power was given to is worse than him. He's like an old school hardliner Russian, the motherland. He's, I think, even a little bit crazier. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. You know that statement they say, like, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer? I think that's kind of how you have to play this one, is basically just kill them with kindness. I don't think you're going to be able to, put it this way, if you assassinate him, or if there's any question or conspiracy that he was taken out and there was any support, anything like that, you have now opened the door for escalation by everybody that doesn't like somebody, right? I think I think it's ground that has to be tread on very, very lightly, right? God forbid it ever gets back that there was a failed attempt by the United States to, support rebels that try to assassinate Putin. You want nukes? That's how you get nukes. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think kill him with kindness. I think what you need to do. I think that's the only way to do it at this point. I think where we are in life and culture and science and everything else, I think you need to kill them with kindness at this point. Ukraine is going to liberate itself. Everything will be fine. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you want to liberate, I feel like at this point it's like a bowl of sand. They were so corrupt beforehand. I don't know. I would debate that the Ukraine is not actually liberating itself. The United States is using it. The United States is liberating the Ukraine, right? We have $20 billion worth of equipment that we've sent over there right now. We don't have soldiers, but at this day and age, do we need soldiers, or can we just have all our equipment do it? We can just have our equipment do it, right? So in all essence, we are fighting the war. So yeah, I mean, there's no candy-coating that one, right? I mean, Russia's standpoint is, yes, we are fighting the United States. Why? We're fighting nothing but United States weapons, and they are giving them $20 billion worth of weapons. We're fighting it. You can candy coat it any way you want. We're fighting it, right? We've basically given them unlimited money, unlimited funds to fight a war. That's us fighting it. There's no difference, right? So, yeah. Again, here's the thing. If we really wanted peace, if we wanted to stop him, all they had to do was sign security guarantees that they wouldn't join, and it would give Russia the buffer. But that wasn't important to us, right? If we truly wanted peace, what could we have done? What type of guarantees could we have put in with $20 billion, right? We absolutely could have put in things. Could have done a lot, right? And now look at Iran. Remember, we were trying to make good with Iran, and Biden was like, yeah, "Let's go, Iran! Yeah, we're going to bring Iranian oil back online." And now, what's happening in Iran? Their civilians are getting murdered and beaten to death, and now that's a hot button. And again, Biden was trying to be all buddy because Russia was bad, but Iran, they have oil. We could bring their oil supply back online, guys. That's great. It's all bull. It's all bull. It's just politics. So there are plenty of atrocities in the world that we are allowing happen. To say that Russia is the main reason of everything, give the guy a security guarantee. Russia's been invaded a million times. Give him a security guarantee, right? China doing some really, really bad things. Iran doing some really, really bad things. Korea doing some really, really bad things. So, yeah, we're making friends in all the right places. Anyway, let's go across and let's look at the open. So a lot of them are choppy. We got 2 in the green. And again, kind of talking about that reversal that we saw from yesterday. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. 930, okay. So it looks like we probably got one. There would have been your near-term base. Again, your 839 all drove us down into that level. Did not get breached. Let's see if it was a true long. Let's see if we are out. 1 to 3 is right there. Boom, we just hit it. There we go. It's out now officially. Wait, who invaded Russia? Oh my God, Ernest. Russia has been burned to the ground, I think, more than Washington, D.C. I mean, the Chinese have done it multiple times and burned them in. Germany backstabbed them and invaded them. I mean, they've been invaded a lot. As far as like large countries go, I think they've been invaded more than anybody else in the world. They have a very much culture like we need to protect ourselves. Like, I mean, the way that their country was formed. The Mongols burned their city, their main capital city, twice. And like they did it once, and then 100 years later came back and did it again. And then Russia, I mean, thank God Hitler had way too big of an ego and he was stupid. Right? Thank God he really, instead of, thank God he didn't listen to his generals, because he would have burned it down too. So, yeah. No, Russia's very big on the we're going to get invaded thing. That's how they were formed. Yeah, Russian history is actually quite interesting. They went through some stuff. Anyway, this is out now. So we're 1 for 1 on entry and 1 for 1 on full profit. Came back down, grabbed it, and again, it was kind of continuing to go lower. The 915, the 930 candle had already breached this one, hence why we used the most recent one. So we're good there. That's been good. That doesn't justify this recent move. No, it does. It does if you understand their point of view. It's easy to say on our point of view that they're bad, but if you look to see, and again, Ernest, a lot of that is understanding kind of, and again, the only reason I have this is because, again, from a lot of friends overseas and what their opinions are on the United States. I have friends in Russia, I have friends in Europe, I have friends all over the place, and a lot of them have the same opinion. Again, the United States, I think we have our nose in too many other people's business, and again, we have an arrogance to us that we do no wrong, which I disagree with. I think we do plenty wrong, we do plenty wrong. We just don't admit to it. We kind of have an ego about it all. Man, look at that. NQ missed it again. Urgh. NQ did this yesterday too. It went in the right direction, but it just missed entry. So, yeah. 1 for 2. It's a shame because it did go all the way back up again. Wah, wah, wah. Question is, do we roll now at 10:30? Look at this top on this. Do we roll at 10:30? Huh. Almost 2 for 2. And the Dow. Ooh, did the Dow go a little bit too low? Boom. Nope, it didn't. It survived. Let's see. Actually, I would have ran it from there. I could have probably shrunk it, but it lived, and 1 to 3 is right there. So not quite out yet. Not quite out. Yeah. I think we're good here. I think this one's good. So it's 2 for 3 on entry and about to hit our profit target. Again, we have some time. We should, we may be able to do it the next 15 minutes, right? This one also has a top as well. And again, this top was, they tagged this top at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was where the last trade was. So again, had you gotten in, there is a position you could have done here with a failure to go higher, right? Was a trade there that, again, could have taken the short here. The basically 8:30 all the way down to 9:30 drove us right into that level, which is what we want to see. And then we have the reversal back again. So again, decent trade set up there. So we are 2 for 3 and not quite at full profit target yet, although this one's locked in. Even if this turns and rolls right now, you're not losing money on this one. So you're going to get some cash out of this one either way. And Russell, let's see. Did Russell make it? Nah. Russell was too low, right? The 9:30, well, I guess that's not true. So had you traded Russell futures, you got stopped out at 9:30 because we opened down here. Had you traded this with an options product, like we've been kind of talking, gives us a little bit more of a kind of a backstop on things. There you go. You're out on this guy. The other two, you were fine for futures. This one, you needed options. So not bad. 3 for 4 on entries. 3 out of 4 actually had an entry. NQ obviously didn't make it. And then as far as trading, if you traded futures, 2 out of 3 went to full profit target, or I guess one's there, but you're not losing money on it. One you would have got stopped out on the way down. Had you traded these with options, obviously well past, and then YM, it's trying. You're about 2/3 of the way through, so you're almost there. Almost 3 for 3 on entries with options. All right, so 10:37. That is it today. What would Reagan have done? Oh, I don't know what Reagan would have done. I don't know. Different time. Like it's not the Cold War. Like I said, people want to preach peace, but then in reality, their actions don't really show that that's what they want. I mean, like asking for a security guarantee, I don't think is a big deal. Like they should. Nobody should feel that threatened in this day and age. I mean, it is 2022, right? Nobody should feel threatened. I mean, he said in the beginning, if they guarantee they will not join NATO, we're good. And we couldn't even give him that. If it was literally a security guarantee, could we have saved $20 billion to give him that guarantee and then just provided some type of security guarantee with the Ukraine? Yeah, we could have. They could have just said, no, we're not going to join NATO. Because again, they take NATO as an aggressive. They look at NATO as an aggressive. I mean, NATO was basically formed, right? Right, basically formed to go against them, right? That was like the Cold War, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, you got to understand what they're thinking of. So, anyway, let's go ahead and do our drawing for today. Earners won yesterday. 8 of you in, 10 tickets in. So, again, no major crazinesses in today. So, with that said, whatever today's drawing is. Ooh, he takes it with 2. He did have 2 tickets in. So he had a 20% chance of winning. Nura gave him a little bit of feedback, but look at this. I think somebody said it yesterday. Somebody said, I don't remember who it was. Somebody said Ernest is on a streak. Actually, it was Will, I think, right? Will, didn't you say it? I believe Will said that, Ernest is hot these days. He was at Magato, he's at Magato. Ernest is so hot these days, right? Start calling Ernest Hansel. Right. All right. With that said, I'm out of here. You guys have a great weekend. Hopefully I don't, get, kind of half voting for, rained out, half voting for weather turns, and it's a great lacrosse weekend for us because it's good team matchups for us. So we shall see. But with that said, thank you for joining me today. I will catch you guys Monday morning, 9:30 Eastern time. A lot of setups out there for Sunday night setups, so make sure you guys go ahead and check those out. I'm actually quite happy with where a lot of these are. I'm pretty excited for a Sunday night that I can actually sit down and trade some of these. So with that said, I'm out. You guys have a good one. I thought he was an NSA ban list. Maybe. All right, you guys take care. Catch you later. his stuff just in case? Coming in and going forward because those are individually like stitched.